Hello YouTube, welcome to Popcorn Daddy. I'm Kevin. Let's get into some theories about Halloween Ends and discuss how they could work, how they can't, the positive, the negative, some personal headcanon theories. Most importantly, what's your favorite scary movie? Why am I mentioning Scream? And how is it relevant to Halloween Ends? Stay tuned to find out. Okay, to start things off, I'm actually going to explain why I said Scream pertained to Halloween Ends. Okay, so with this current set of Halloween films, even though they continue off from where the 78 film, like it's a direct sequel how many years later, this current set is a trilogy. So you would think the trilogy rules from Scream might apply because it is a horror trilogy. So to quote Randy Meeks from Scream 3 in his video, I'm gonna actually quote it and bring up parallels between that and what's going on in this current trilogy. So, begin quote. But here's a critical thing. If you find yourself dealing with an unexpected backstory and a preponderance of exposition, then the sequel rules do not apply because you are not dealing with a you're not dealing with a trilogy. You're not dealing with the sequel. You're dealing with the concluding chapter of a trilogy. That's right, it's a rarity in the horror field, but it does exist, and it's a force to be reckoned with. Because true trilogies are about going back to the beginning and discovering something that wasn't true from the get-go. Rule number 1, you got a killer who's going to be superhuman. Okay, so Michael pretty much, okay, actually going back a little before I actually read off rule number 1, discovering something that wasn't true from the get-go. Hawkins explaining to Laurie it's not about her. Michael pretty much went back to his house after he tried attacking her. And the factor that Sartain actually brought Michael to Laurie's compound in 2018, Michael wasn't really after her that night. He was just on a killing spree throughout Haddonfield on his way back home. Okay, so going back to rule number 1, you got a killer who's going to be superhuman. Okay, between 2018 and Kills, they both go on during the same night. Okay, so throughout that night, Michael's been hit by a car, stabbed by Allison in the gut like 3 times, beat with some rocks or bricks or something, whatever, like the bricks or something that Lindsay put in the bag and just started wailing on. You got the whole mob beat down where he pretty much got shot, stabbed, beat with a baseball bat, somebody brought an iron, and he pretty much powered through it like a champ and demolished them after that. So it's kind of obvious that he's superhuman. He was also set on fire in 2018, and his hand was blown off. I mean, there was a scene where pretty much you saw him bandaging up like that wound. However, like the factor that he was able to get back up and champion through that and pretty much kill the mob kind of shows he is gonna be kind of superhuman in this upcoming film. Okay, rule number 2, anyone including the main character can die. Got a feeling Laurie's gonna die in this film. Karen died in the last film and she was kind of a main character in that one. She was actually featured in more scenes than I think Laurie was actually, so there's also that possibility. And rule number 3, the past will come back and bite you in the butt. I censored myself there, but yeah, pretty much yeah, Hawkins, he, in the flashback scene, he stopped Dr. Loomis from shooting Michael in the back of the head. So, in a way, it is already coming back to bite him because Michael's free again. He's killing. And I really don't think Hawkins is going to make it through Halloween Ends. It will ultimately come back and bite him in the butt. So, that would be the parallels there. So let's get on to the theories. Okay, so theory number 1. I'm actually going to start off with probably the most popular on the list of theories, and that would be Michael's mask is a prototype for the Silver Shamrock masks. Well, I kind of like the idea of including Halloween 3 into the actual Halloween universe. Given that we have the masks from Halloween 3 like featured in both Halloween 2018 or Halloween Kills. I mean, it's a nice Easter egg. However, like even they have like the Silver Shamrock pendants and stuff like that. That's enough to imply that Silver Shamrock does exist in this universe. And with recent updates coming out that there's going to be another threat, there is that major possibility that Silver Shamrock's that other threat and they're controlling Michael somehow. Maybe the radio tower, but ultimately, if I'm being honest, I'm not really a fan of this theory. I'm pretty sure like it's not going to be that. I mean, even with the masks featured, that's enough to imply that Silver Shamrock does exist and they can actually, well, not they, because if I recall correctly, Blumhouse actually said they lose the rights exactly after this film. So whoever picks up after that, they could actually make a sequel involving Halloween 3 and going off of the universe in Halloween Kills, where Silver Shamrock is like the main like focus. Like it's enough to imply that it is in that universe and they can actually base a sequel off of that. But like I said, I'm not really a fan of having Michael being controlled. That's actually one of the negatives. Also, if you actually think about it, imagine Michael going into somebody's house to kill somebody. The Silver Shamrock commercial actually comes on. Next thing you know, his face just like melts and all you see is snakes, bugs, and all that stuff just coming out, and he pretty much just dies in the process. I really don't think that's going to be the possibility. I mean, if I recall, he actually used the mask as his actual face. And yeah, I'm not really sure. It might happen, but I'm still leaning towards it not really being the case. I would just feel the three masks from Halloween 3 were just thrown in to be Easter eggs. As much as I love Halloween 3, I just don't want to see anybody controlling Michael. I want to have more mystique behind them and pretty much keep them at the same, what do you call it? Keep them in the same like sense as he was in the original. Like more focus on him being the boogeyman, stalkerish, sleek in the night, stuff like that. Make him like remain a mystery. Okay, so let's go on to theory number 2. The Dreamcatcher theory. And yeah, Dreamcatcher theory. In my case, rather than calling it the Dreamcatcher theory, I will call it the ultimate cop-out theory, because pretty much it was all a dream. Okay, so I can actually see where they are gonna go with it, possibly, if they did the Dreamcatcher theory, and I don't, if I'm gonna be honest, I really see only one positive behind it, and that's only if they can actually make it a dream and go back to the original in a sense where you can actually pick up like after the original and like make it not about Laurie afterwards. But aside from that, like the only other way I could actually possibly see it happening is pretty much Laurie might be in a coma or something like that, because if you remember before the whole bus leaves from transferring Michael, she actually tried killing herself. So pretty much she could be in a coma and it could all be a dream. And if I'm gonna be honest, I really do not like this one. Okay, so going over those ones. Okay, so theory number 3. This was actually brought up on the Dave Mcrae YouTube channel. I'll actually leave a link in my description to the video. But it involves, I actually love this theory, but I hope it does not happen, just because the fact we're, like I said on the first theory, it goes back. I do not want to see Michael being controlled by anything. I just want him to remain a mystery, pretty much, and have that mystique about him. Like, essentially, Michael from the original. Like, you didn't know anything. It's more terrifying if you don't know, like, anything about it. But yeah, the Dave Mcrae theory was pretty much Michael's brainwaves being altered by the radio tower, which like I said, I really love that theory. Like, it makes a lot of sense. It's kind of in a basis of reality. It could also be the radio tower affecting the town too, because let's see, Michael induces fear. The radio tower amplifies like the brainwaves to induce more fear in people. Maybe they're seeing Michael where like he's not really at. I don't know, but yeah, it's a good theory. I just don't hope it happens because, like I said, I kind of want to stay true to the original and just have Michael be a force on his own. Okay, so to bring up theories of my own, like the headcanon theories. Okay, so what if Michael was the curse of Haddonfield? Like, in a sense, you know how like Halloween 6 was called the Curse of Michael Myers. Meanwhile, he was inflicted by the Curse of Thorn, going back to Celtic runes, stuff like that. But what if Haddonfield's actually cursed and Michael Myers is like part of that curse? That could be a possibility. Another like headcanon theory, this is also something that's been brought up. Michael being possibly arrested at the beginning of Halloween Ends, but the headcanon for me would be, what if Michael was arrested at the end of Halloween Ends, ultimately signaling the fact that you can't kill the boogeyman. But since him being arrested, it leaves room for people to come back in to revive the series from that point and make possibly Halloween Returns. And instead of the characters that you get in Halloween Returns, you get like Allison. Michael sees Allison. He breaks out of his lethal injection at the sight of Allison, and pretty much you go from there. But yeah. Okay, so a theory I actually forgot to put on the other video. This was actually a theory since the 2018. Laurie caused the bus accident in Halloween 2018, causing Michael to get loose. That one is actually a heavy possibility. Okay, so with there being like another threat, kind of seeing how the mob was a threat in Halloween Kills, what if people discovered Laurie was the one who caused the accident, and pretty much the other threat is the townspeople who are pretty much pissed that they unleashed Michael upon the town. But okay, so I'm actually going to quote Halloween 3, Cochran's one thing. It actually goes into like, it actually deals heavily with some of the theme in Halloween Kills. Like, okay, so it's like, you really don't know much about Halloween. You thought no further than the strange custom of having your children wear masks and go out begging for candy. It was the start of the year in our old Celtic lands, and we'd be waiting in our houses of wattle and clay. The barriers would be down, you see, between the real and unreal, and the dead is looking in. Throughout Halloween Kills, they were talking about whether Michael was looking outward at something or if he was looking in at himself. To sit by the fires of our turf, Halloween, the festival of Samhain, the last great one took place 3,000 years ago, and the hills ran red with the blood of animals and children. Well, throughout the entire franchises, Michael hasn't really been shy of killing pretty much, he's terrible, but he's killed dogs, and in this new set of sequels, he's actually killed, like, people younger than, like, 15, like, he's actually killed some kids. So, it is pretty much kind of relating to like the Sawin part, but yeah, I just thought it was kind of neat how that quote actually was saying how the dead was looking in. So, and also the barrier between the real and unreal is like the barrier between it would be down. So the factor that Michael is able to survive all that, maybe that's actually the possibility. Like he's somehow becoming a deity for Saltwin. I don't know. Before I forget, what would you like to see in Halloween Ends? Leave it in the comments and we can actually discuss it. Thank you for your time. This has been Popcorn Daddy. Hope you have a great day. Please hit the subscribe button, the like, and noti bell. I'd really appreciate it. Why can't I have a good webcam?